Hi, I'm Liz, and today I'm going to talk to you about board games. One board game in particular, Cards Against Humanity. Now, if you are a youth group leader or a director of religious education or have had any contact with our youth groups over the past few years, you probably will have heard of this game. Cards Against Humanity is a horrible game for horrible people and is 17 plus. Since most of our youth groups are not 17 plus, and we like to think of ourselves as not horrible people, I don't think it really has a place in our youth groups. Many people agree, many people disagree. I'm not going to get into the debate, but what I will tell you is some alternatives. Because if you tell a youth that they cannot do something anymore without giving them an alternative, they're just going to want to do it even more. So here are my top games that replace Cards Against Humanity. Now, my first game, I no longer have the box for because I play it so often and take it with me when I travel. I've put it into Ziploc bags. That's because it's a very simple game. It only consists of 2 different cards and a timer. And the game is Snake Oil. Snake Oil, you are all traveling salespeople and you have different products to sell to all your customers. But your customers are a little strange, and your products are a little strange. You will have a handful of about 5 cards, and you have to put 2 of them together to make your product. These cards might be things like lamp, friend, muscle, grenade, and the person who you might be selling to might be a superhero. You look at your hand, you pick 2 together, and you put them together to make a product. Friend grenade. Then you have 30 seconds to pitch it. You as a fantastic superhero obviously come across lots of supervillains all the time, but you want to be a good role model for children, don't you? Don't just use violence. I have the perfect thing for you. A friend grenade. This grenade goes off in an explosion of friendliness, and all those supervillains will be your best friend and now on your side. Even more people to do the good work in the world and be the best role models ever. Friend grenade. That was 30 seconds, and from the top of my head. Now, Snake Oil is a great replacement for Cards Against Humanity because you're still using the cards, but you're also using your imagination. There is still a person who is choosing who's the funniest or the best, but they have something to pick it from. I like it. It brings out a lot of social skills and imagination, but it's a little unstructured. So for some people who don't know each other well, it can be a little daunting. So I have some other options for people who want a little bit more structure in their game. Game number 2, Funemployed. Now, Snake Oil is a very family game and it has all family friendly cards. Funemployed is a little different. It's for 16 plus, and I'll go into the drawbacks of that in a second. But the premise is that you're applying for a job. You're still selling something, but this time it's your skills. But of course, you're not just selling your skills, you're selling the skills in your hand. Things like rapid, utility belt, and there'll be lots out that you can mix and match. You pick up to 5, which gives you a little more structure in your pitch, but you can still add your own spin. You're then applying for jobs like, what do you know? Superhero, mime, butcher. There's lots of different jobs and lots of different skills that you can put together and make your own pitch. I like it for Cards Against Humanity because you're still using the same dynamic of someone picking and someone pitching, but this time you have a little bit more structure around it. You have some more laugh at the cards. There are a few cards that are not youth appropriate. It is 16 plus, but 16 in the game world is not necessarily 16 plus in our UU youth group world. I'll put a list of the cards that I would recommend taking out, but please go through the cards before you give them to your youth group to see which ones are appropriate, or ask them which they think would be appropriate to play with. Certain things in here are of a sexual nature, certain things in here are making light of disorders. You might want to choose which you're okay with and which you want to just leave out for the game. Other than that, unlike Cards Against Humanity, where if you take out all of the adult cards you end up with no game, this game really still works well even though you have cut out some of the cards. But wait, there's more. No, really, that's the game title. Game number 3, but wait, there's more. Again, another sales pitch game. This time, you're all selling the same product and you're doing it in crazy infomercial style. The product might be a can of soup. Everyone is pitching a can of soup, but of course, everybody's can of soup has a different feature. My feature is great for parties. It's a huge can of soup that's great for parties because there's lots of servings. But wait, there's more. I now have to pick a second feature and integrate it immediately into, again, my 30-second pitch. It makes bath time fun. Not only is it a huge serving size that would be great for parties, but when you don't have a party, it makes a really good bubble bath. Great for bath time fun. Then I have an expansion called That's the Best Part, where someone can ask you a question. What happens if my pet swallows it? Well, that's the best part, because if your pet swallows it, it's a can of soup, and great for parties, and good in the bath, so your pet will have a really good social life and smell really good. You still have 30 seconds, and it's a little hectic, so for some people who don't like to think on their feet, it can be intimidating. However, I like it as an alternative to Cards Against Humanity because this has the most structure of the games that I'm going to recommend. You get your laugh on the cards, and you just have to add a little bit of spin yourself. Because each pitch is so short and everyone does the same feature, it allows for mistakes, it allows for fumbling, it allows for people to go, ugh, I have nothing to say with this card, and everyone is okay with it. Instead of having one person who you're pitching to, everybody votes on which they think is their favourite product. So it gets everybody into the gameplay, and you're not playing to the person, but you're playing to the group. This would be my most structured recommendation of the bunch. So which of my games would I recommend to you? All 3, or one of either of them. They all have their merits, they are all great games, and they can all be played in different scenarios. I play these with my friends, I play these with my youth group, I play these with my family, I play these at multi-generational events. They can all take on different tones. You can have innuendo and sexual jokes with adults, when appropriate. However, in a youth group setting, with your boundaries that are already in place, they generally tend to play a very clean and still fun game. I think these are really great alternatives to something like Cards Against Humanity, because they're still about humour, they're still about laughing, they're still about socialisation, they're still about imagination, more so than Cards Against Humanity. But it's not at anybody else's expense, and it's not inappropriate for the youth group. Instead of putting it down anonymously and using the most shocking thing to get the laughs. These really do build values for youth. I would recommend these as a great alternative to Cards Against Humanity. And there are other board games I would recommend too for youth groups, but I'm a big board game fan. And now so are my youth group members. So tune in next time when I might be talking about board games, or maybe I'll be talking about real work.